In 1967, Chevrolet engineers sat down with a strict rule book that should have stopped them completely. The rule said no racing engine could be bigger than 305 cubic inches. And Chevrolet simply didn't have anything that size sitting on the shelf. Most companies would have given up right there. Instead, one engineer had a strange idea. Take two completely different engines, cut them apart, and combine them into something that had never existed before. What came out of that workshop became one of the most secretive, most underrated, and most powerful small engines Detroit ever built. And the wildest part? Chevrolet lied to the entire public about how strong it actually was. Stick around, because this true story only gets crazier. And if you love real stories from the golden age of American muscle cars, hit that subscribe button right now, because we share one every single week. Let's go back to the middle of the 1960s. Ford had just launched the Mustang in 1964, and it became an instant sensation. Regular families loved it, but racers loved it even more, because Ford quickly started using it to dominate a brand new racing series called Trans Am, run by the Sports Car Club of America, known as the SCCA. This series was becoming incredibly popular, and it forced every major car company to pay close attention. Chevrolet had a problem. Their new car, the Camaro, was launched in 1967, 3 years after the Mustang. And Chevrolet desperately wanted it to compete in Trans Am racing too. But there was a serious obstacle standing in their way. The SCCA rulebook was very strict. It said no engine bigger than 305 cubic inches, or 5 liters, was allowed to compete in the series. This rule existed to keep the racing fair, so nobody could just throw in a massive engine and win through raw size alone. Here's where the real problem starts. Chevrolet at that time simply did not have an engine that fit neatly into this rule. Their small engine, the 283 cubic inch V8, was too weak and too small to compete seriously. Their bigger engine, the 327 cubic inch V8, was a great engine, but it was too large to legally qualify for Trans Am racing. Chevrolet was stuck right in the middle, with nothing that fit the rules and still had real racing power. This is where a Chevrolet high-performance leader named Vince Piggins enters the story. Piggins had been watching the growing success of Trans Am racing very closely, and he had already been quietly working behind the scenes with the SCCA. Long before the very first production, Camaro even rolled off the assembly line at Chevrolet's factory in Norwood, Ohio. He understood something crucial. If Chevrolet wanted to be taken seriously in this new racing world, they needed an engine built specifically to satisfy this rulebook, not just something pulled off an existing shelf. So Chevrolet engineers came up with a clever, almost sneaky solution. Instead of building an entirely new engine from scratch, which would take enormous time and money, they decided to combine parts from 2 engines they already had. They took the wide 4-inch cylinder bore from the larger 327 cubic inch engine, and they combined it with the shorter 3-inch stroke crankshaft from the smaller 283 cubic inch engine. When you put those 2 pieces together, something interesting happens mathematically. The result landed at exactly 302.4 cubic inches, just barely squeezing in under that strict 305 cubic inch limit. This wasn't some brand new, complicated invention either. Racers and mechanics had actually experimented with similar bore and stroke combinations before, in smaller garages and hot rod shops. But Chevrolet was the first major car company to take this trick and turn it into an official factory production engine, built specifically to legally qualify for professional racing. Now, here's where things get genuinely fascinating. This new 302 cubic inch engine wasn't just legal on paper. It was engineered to rev extremely high, much higher than a typical American V8 engine of that era. Regular engines of the time usually ran out of steam by around 5,000 revolutions per minute. This new Chevrolet 302 kept pulling strong power all the way from around 3,500 revolutions per minute, up to an incredible 7,000 revolutions per minute. For American engineering in the late 1960s, that kind of high revving personality felt closer to something you'd expect from a European racing engine, not a mass-produced Chevrolet. Chevrolet placed this special new engine exclusively inside a very specific version of the Camaro, a model they called the Z/28. And here's something that shows just how serious Chevrolet was about winning, not just selling cars. The very first 1967 Z/28 wasn't loaded with flashy badges or bold marketing graphics. It had simple twin racing stripes, a tuned suspension, a close ratio 4-speed manual transmission, and that special 302 engine hidden under a completely flat, unassuming hood. Chevrolet wasn't trying to impress people standing in a parking lot. They were building a genuine race car that also happened to be legal for regular customers to buy and drive home. Now here comes the part of this story that many people still don't fully know. Chevrolet officially told the public and even filed official paperwork claiming that this 302 engine only produced 290 horsepower. On paper, that sounds like a solid but fairly ordinary number for a performance V8 of that era. But that official number was, quite simply, not true. When independent dynamometer testing was actually done on this engine, the real horsepower figures came back dramatically higher, with credible estimates suggesting the true output was closer to 375 horsepower, and some tests even suggested it may have reached even higher under the right conditions. Why would Chevrolet deliberately underreport the true power of their own engine? The answer connects directly back to those strict racing rules and to something bigger happening across the entire auto industry at that time. Insurance companies were beginning to charge much higher premiums for cars with high advertised horsepower numbers, and some racing organizations use those same official numbers to help balance out competition between different manufacturers. By officially claiming a lower, more modest horsepower figure, Chevrolet could keep insurance costs more reasonable for everyday buyers, while quietly still delivering a genuinely ferocious race-ready engine to anyone who understood exactly what they were really buying. Out on the actual racetrack, this secretive little engine proved itself again and again. Working with a racing team led by Roger Penske, driver Mark Donohue took the Z/28 Camaro and completely dominated the Trans Am series. In 1968, this team won an incredible 10 out of 13 races that season, and they came back to successfully defend their championship again in 1969, delivering back-to-back manufacturers' championships for Chevrolet. Ford didn't even have a proper direct competitor ready to fight back until they released their own Bosch 302 Mustang for the 1969 model year. And by that point, Chevrolet's secret engine had already proven its dominance for 2 full seasons. By 1969, Chevrolet refined this legendary engine even further, and it earned a special engine code that serious car collectors still recognize with real reverence today, the letters DZ. This particular DZ302 engine used specific large journal engine block castings, and finding a genuine, correctly matched example today has become something collectors take extremely seriously. Because fake stampings and cloned engines have unfortunately become common in the classic car market over the decades since. What makes this story so special isn't just the raw horsepower numbers, impressive as they truly were. It's the clever thinking behind the entire engine. Chevrolet's engineers looked at a rulebook that seemed to block them completely, and instead of simply admitting defeat, they found a smart, resourceful way to build something legal, something powerful, and something that quietly outsmarted the entire racing world for 2 straight seasons. This wasn't an accident. It was pure engineering cleverness hidden under a plain, unassuming hood. Today, original Z/28 Camaros equipped with a genuine, correctly documented 302 or DZ302 engine are considered some of the most desirable and valuable classic muscle cars in the entire hobby. Verifying a real one requires careful attention to original paperwork, correct casting numbers, and matching engine codes. Since there is no Z/28 specific engine code printed directly on the vehicle identification number itself for these early years. So the next time somebody tells you that only the loudest, most obviously powerful engines win on a racetrack, remember the story of the secret Chevy 302. Remember an engine built by simply combining 2 different parts in a clever new way, an engine Chevrolet publicly downplayed to the entire world, and how that quiet little secret went on to genuinely dominate American racing for 2 incredible seasons in a row. If you enjoyed learning this true story, let us know in the comments which classic muscle car secret you want us to uncover next. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the family. We share real stories from the golden age of American cars and racing every single week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.